What's up, crypto fam? It seems like what Trump has been doing is starting to work, and it may not be seen on the charts like that we're trying to get excited about a bull market here, but there's a lot of bullish news. May not be right now, but there's bullish news for retail. There's bullish news for people that are trying to pay for their groceries. And I'm going to show you what Trump's been doing, what's been going on with Elon and how everyone's blowing everything up. We're going to look at charts, and we're going to look at the pattern that I'm starting to see and that's slowly starting to unfold. Then, of course, we're going to look at how the bots are doing through these crappy markets and why they are the choice of mine going forward. Trump and Putin have agreed to a limited ceasefire. They're not trying to target energy targets, which obviously, won't affect the average person that's living in Ukraine. Obviously, we need to get further than this, but it is a step forward to Trump doing what he said, which was trying to end the wars around this world so we can focus on bigger problems, not create bigger problems. So that's really bullish for crypto, because if we get a full ceasefire and then hopefully an end to this war, obviously that'll be very, very positive for the markets, because the reason this war is terrible is it created a lot of uncertainty. And this is why we're seeing a massive flight to gold. Peter Schiff must be creaming his pants, but whatever. Moving on, if you make things more affordable for the average American can afford to buy gas and eat food. And I think if you drive those prices down with all the things he's doing, it's going to lead us to other things coming down in value as well, which will then make it affordable for everyday Americans, which, as much as people think he's only for the rich, it actually will help many of the people that aren't very wealthy. And I think that is the way to help America first. Make things that are essential affordable, which is what he's doing. All these policies may have effect on the markets, but it's a short-term pain. And as you can see, it hasn't been that long, and he's already achieving goals of oil being down for 4 weeks in a row, eggs being down for 4 weeks in a row, and it's going to continue that trend. So this is a very big win for all of us, because if retail have money and they can afford things again, then obviously all the markets will do better because of it. All right, so very positive thing about Elon, then I'm going to tell you about the negative. The positive is SpaceX actually got these NASA astronauts out of space. They landed today in the water. There were dolphins swimming around, which is really cool, kind of like a welcome back to Earth. And everyone's safe and doing okay. So that's really, really positive. Elon does a lot of great things for this world. Tesla was great for the world. This is great for the world. SpaceX, all these things help progress us further. Yet for some reason, there's things like these going on where everyone is trying to find all the doxed Tesla users and putting them on a map and making them targets of violence. And this is crazy, because we're talking about gunfire, arson, harassment, things that all of the people on the left and all the people that were all about freedom and it's all about everyone working together, being a Democrat, being a liberal, and all they're doing is the complete and utter opposite, showing us exactly who they really always were. I'm not saying everyone is like that, but I'm saying that if people can get behind this, I didn't see Trump rally people doing this kind of stuff, and I don't think they would have. It just shows there's definitely some type of mental illness in society, and it's a big problem. And then when we look at things like this, it's terrorism. It's literally going and targeting people in their own country domestically to terrorize these people and either violently hurt them or light their cars on fire with Molotov cocktails, regardless of what it is. It's wrong. It shouldn't happen. And if you care about the environment, you dumbasses who say Greenpeace and all stuff, why are you burning down Teslas and making batteries go on fire and polluting the earth with something that actually was a vehicle to stop the pollution of Earth? Really sad. Honestly, I hope this changes. I hope there's really hard charges for these people and that they get the book thrown at them, because violent acts have always been something that are unacceptable. And I don't understand why anyone on the left that is spewing this hate, that is trying to create this chaos, should not be sitting in a jail cell next to the guy who's punching someone in the face. Let's be honest. They're the same type of people. Maybe harsh. I don't really care. I think this is how you deal with this. And then, just to piss off these guys even more, Russia is discussing space cooperation with Musk, because what he is doing is clearly valuable to everyone on Earth. And Vladimir Putin wants to be part of great, amazing, forward-looking people. And so should every world leader, and so should every person. We need to stop the hate. We need to get back to love first. We need to start working together. We need to stop this horrible narrative around the earth of it's us versus them. We're all in this together. If we're screwing up earth one way or another, we're all affected. So this is time for people to get back to the values that they grew up with. Play nice with your neighbors. Don't screw over people. Have integrity. Okay, so looking at Solana, they had their ETF launch. I remember the Bitcoin ETF launch way back, I believe it was 2018. And I remember how exactly that went, and it was super low volume. Everyone thought it would not be successful, and then obviously things changed. Solana is now in the same starting phases, going the same path. And honestly, it will take some time for that to grow, but that will likely grow. That should also be very bullish for Solana long term. Now, speaking on Solana, I don't know if any of you saw this commercial. I'm not going to play it because it was literally super cringy, but it was really anti-woke, which we love. It was an anti-woke commercial, and then it kind of led into Solana and their next conference. And it did have a lot of backlash. It was pretty, for some people, it was toxic. I kind of found it a little bit funny, but a little bit over the top, but kind of not really needed. It didn't really make a lot of sense in the way they positioned it. And even Solana and Solana Foundation posting this out didn't really make a lot of sense. But yeah, some controversy in the world, but it is what it is. Just want to make sure that if you guys haven't seen it, go try to find that commercial and watch it, and you'll understand exactly why everyone is saying it's toxic, cringe, divisive, etc. All right. Moving on, Canary Capital advances their first ever SUI ETF. So we're going to start seeing more and more ETFs after we saw, the Bitcoin ETF, ETH, Solana. You're going to start seeing others as well. And we just saw Move is also working towards getting their ETF. And a lot of these platforms likely will be World Liberty Fi connected. There's definitely some types of connections to these guys. And ultimately what they're trying to do is make it easy for people who don't understand crypto, that don't want to store their crypto, to be able to be part of crypto. That's the whole point of ETFs that people miss. Yes, we believe in self-custody. Yes, we like decentralization. But the reality is the average person that wants to buy crypto doesn't know how, doesn't want to lose their assets, doesn't want to put them on a MetaMask and get their assets stolen from some hack that they didn't know they pushed on a button on their email and they're phished and their whole thing's gone, or they click on a link and it's gone. So it's much safer for the average user who doesn't understand. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to learn about this and eventually buy real assets, but I do believe an insured asset is a little bit safer for them and not having to be their own wallet, their own bank. I think be your own bank is for a very small amount of people. For the masses, everyone wants that insurance and that policy of, if something goes wrong, they're not going to lose everything. So that's just something to think about. MicroStrategy also is raising more capital, as we know. Here is another one that just came out yesterday. So more money going into MicroStrategy. Whether that's good or bad, we'll find out in due time. Now, let's look at charts, because these kind of are boring right now, which is why I haven't really focused on them too much, because they haven't really done very much in the last week. And we're still at this level on Bitcoin, which I pointed out like a few days, like 5-6 days ago, about how we're holding this SR flip level. SR means support, R means resistance. Support is when it bounces lower. Resistance is when it tries to push the price down. So you can see clearly it couldn't get lower than it broke below. It couldn't get higher in the times that it's tried to break it. It hasn't broke it, so it's come back down. The market structure on the daily, kind of boring, very sideways. We haven't really seen very much here. So that's why, there's really not much to talk about when it comes to Bitcoin. We're all waiting to see if we get some type of movement. Hopefully above this SR level will be good, because it would give us a new support at around 84, and then maybe we could get closer to filling the gap, which we still have. And the gap is still very clearly right there. We almost filled it, so I can actually go here and just bring it down, but we still have this gap. Some people would say the wick counts. Personally, I don't really count the wicks, right? Because those don't really tell us very much. We filled the lower gap. We need to fill the higher gap and then see where we go next. But right now, we're not in a very bullish state. People are talking about bear market. I was kind of hinting at this might be the reality for a while. So that's where we're at. Now, how is everything else doing? Total 2 staying in this channel. Totals, they're all looking very similar. All the total market caps of coins. Total 3 is a little bit different, but in general, we don't really have much excitement in this market. And the total 3 is all without ETH and Bitcoin, and it's only at $800 billion. So we're at a very small market cap considering how many coins we have in this market. So it's going to be very likely that a lot of tokens that don't really have revenue tied to them or solve any problems or anything, those tokens are the ones that you probably should look at offloading if you're trying to reposition your portfolio like I have, because those are the tokens that likely are not going to be here in 5 years. Start figuring that out What solves a problem? What has revenue? Does the revenue go into the token? And then we can start looking at going forward. ETH had a little bump in price. I was saying, like, you know, it looks like the Kijun is very far away. When we get really far on the daily, no matter how often, we usually go and try to pull the price back up. So I could see this going at least back to 2,400 at some point, because it is a golden level that we like to bounce around in the past. So that's, if you looked at my gold chart, which I'll show shortly, that also looks very similar. So I'll bring that up right now just as we're here. So we're starting now at 1645. So as you guys can see, this orange level, I call this the golden pocket. The price that, no matter how much we've gone up and above and below, it likes to come back to that price. So that $1,625 range was where I drew it way a long time ago. Even when we were like, I think it was 2021, I started talking about this and how that gold level was a golden level. Why? If we go back in history, it's been a level that we kind of been support and resistance a lot in the past. So that was what we were looking for when prices were much higher. It was where would the market likely go to next? So we see similar things. And right now, gold, you know, Peter Schiff, like I said, very happy man right now because it's extremely bullish. And this is indicative of uncertainty in the markets. When people don't know if the war is going to end, when people don't know what's going to happen next, we see that that's what happens. We see that people go into gold, they go into silver, they go into metals like I've talked about. The DXY is way down. That's great for certain prices of assets. Hopefully we get the QT stopping in the FOMC this week. And eventually in like later in the year, we get what they're calling for 2 rate cuts, which would then stimulate the economy. And that's pretty much what we need right now at this point. Stock market looks not so great as well. I mean, it had a little bounce up to the 200 EMA. Now it's rejecting it. What will happen in the shorter term, we don't know. But there's been like a little bit of a relief rally. I don't know how much this will go higher. It really depends on certainty of people in the market. The YM looks exactly like the SPX, which is the Dow Jones. They're also pulling up to the 200 EMA. So I'm just going to keep my eyes on these things, as well as the US 10. It's kind of stagnant now. It went up a bunch. People are in bonds. People are in gold. Some people have cash, clearly. And everyone's kind of waiting what happens next. So that's where we're at in the cycle right now. And going through all the coins, if you guys want me to go through certain projects, we will definitely do that. But I need you to do something for me, and that's comment below. What do you want me to chart? You know, it may not be very much to talk about in the short term, but I can give you guys a look at what to look for so that you can keep paying attention to what on the chart you should be paying attention to. So let me know about that. I'd be really grateful, you know, try to help you guys as well. All right, so our trading bots, how are those doing? Everyone always starts to ask this. I started to see lots of people questioning, is this working? Is it not? It is working. It's doing extremely great. As you guys can see, it's still in a trade from yesterday when I made the announcement of it being 1.47% rounded up. Now, if this closes right this second, it would be up a 1.52%. Daily, pushing itself a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher. And imagine the more we get volatility where we go down and up a lot, the more these types of trading systems make. So it's great. So that's where we're at with this one. I'll show you that as well live so you can see that it's all legit. And so the trade's been opened since 82.286. And so it's obviously following the trend, you know, making profits along the way. And we can look at our P&Ls, and I'll show you that this is still only made wins. And if we go here, we can also show you this on our trading performance, as it will show you that it's done 38 trades. It has not lost. This is our very safe accumulation Coach K sat stacking bot. So our Coach K USDT bot, it's also up from yesterday. Again, remember it trades spot. And so right now there's a couple trades that are in session. They start smaller, they grow a little bit bigger as there's volatility. And then when we bounce, they will exit. So that's kind of how it works. It's right now up 2.46% on the month. This is day number 15, I believe. So in 15 days, half a month, it's up almost 2.5%. That's awesome. That's 5% in a month on 100 grand. It's $5,000 a month. Basically pays the bills, right? You don't have to worry about that. So that's why I love these things. And in the market that we're in right now, where everyone feels like they're losing, we're winning, baby. That's what you need to know. We're winning. And I think that's really important because winning is everything in crypto, right? And this is winning on an institutional level. Small wins after small wins after small wins that accumulate to big wins because they compound. And anyone who knows the power of compounding, if I have $105,000 next month, 5% is more than $5,000 next month. So it starts to compound off the total amount. And over time, if you keep letting it run over years like we're doing, that is how you make real gains in crypto. Not trying to do it overnight, not going into a meme coin. Like, sure, you can get lucky, but this is not how you win. So that's where we're at on the two bots. We're just going to show you the last one, the Degen bot. It hasn't closed anything right now, so it's still up from our 2.1 Bitcoin. And what we'll do is we'll just go into the trading charts. We'll do is show you that it's open. Right now it has an open trade that has not yet closed. So we're just waiting. And again, all of our P&Ls back to the 14th, it's been in a trade since then, have been profitable. Ultimately, what does this mean? It means that there are still ways to make money in the market, and I'm showing you those things. That they're existing, they're real, they're not scams. This is institutional level trading. So that's why I'm showing you, because I want you to understand that there are a lot of bullshit fake scams out there. This one is absolutely not. I helped develop it. That's how I can tell you it's not, because I would not tell you about this stuff if it didn't work. It would just be bad for my reputation. So I want you guys to understand that. Let me know what you think. Also, if you're interested about bots, learning more about them, how do they work, etc., comment below. I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you want to learn about. I'm going to also be doing some stuff with Sonic ecosystem to teach you about what's happening over there. And we're going to be looking at all the great projects that are in the space that we're going to research and look at their models and look at, where they're at. And is there growth potential there in the long term as to what we should be starting to target if we are in a bear market and we're going to go in a multi-year bear market? What should we be looking at to see will make us money, right? Because ultimately what this game is all about. All right, guys, have yourself a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm Coach K. Much love to everybody out there. Bye-bye.